Yep. Alright.
Cool.
I have a remote. So here we have Kyle literally, well, you can see what he's doing. He's playing the ukulele. It's America's favorite game. Name that tune. This is what we do. Before on a couch, apparently we play ukuleles. Alright, there we go. Everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I'm Robbie. This is Kyle. Kyle, how are you, buddy? Happy Hump Day.
Yeah, middle of the week. I'm doing okay. How about you?
Doing well. You know, it's another week in the books, or halfway in the books, really, if you think about it that way.
There you go.
And so, obviously, we are back for a brand new episode, and with a brand new episode comes our always lovely sponsors, that being Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson. By the way, breaking news, well, not really breaking news, but if you follow our other two shows, Marvel at the Movies and the Sports Blitz, you'll know that on the Sports Blitz last week, we actually had a guest appearance from one Wes Woodson. Yes, Doug and I welcomed Wes on. We had a great time talking to him about a whole bunch of topics. So definitely please check that out against the latest episode of the Sports Blitz. And I've heard through the grapevine that Wes may be in the near future be making an appearance on Marvel at the Movies as well.
Maybe, yeah. We're still in talks at the moment, but we might have him down the line.
It's possible. Yeah. It is possible. So we'll see. But yeah, shout out to Wes, and also, as always, shout out to Zyman Organizing, who's been a long-time sponsor of On a Couch Talking Sports, as well as Marvel at the Movies and the Sports Blitz. So both those links, as always, will be thrown right down there in the description. So I want to go back, if I could, for just a minute, to our very first episode of 2022. Because if you remember, as we always do in our first episode of the new year, we made some predictions. We made 3 predictions each, for sports-related items that we thought were going to happen or that we'd like to see happen in the coming year. So
I already forgot what 2 of mine were, by the way, but continue.
No, but so that's a perfect segue, because one of Kyle's 3 predictions is what we're going to talk about tonight, because Kyle, in one of his 3 predictions, predicted that him and I would, in the year 2022, attend a professional sporting event, at least one professional sporting event together. Mm-hmm. Well, Kyle, you already know this because obviously you lived it. I'm happy to report that we did just that. That is the reason why we were not out with a new episode last week, is because Kyle and I made the always fun trip into TD Garden, located in Boston, Massachusetts, as many of you know, to see a Celtics game.
Yeah.
It was literally my first trip to TD Garden in over 2 years, and the last time I went to TD Garden was with me. No, because the last time I went to TD Garden was with you for the Bean Pie back in February of 2020.
Oh, yeah, good point. For basketball, maybe over 3 years. But you're right, in general. Yeah.
And it's interesting, because the last time I went to a professional sporting event at TD Garden was back in December of 2019. I went to a Celtics game.
There you go.
So it was my first time seeing the Celtics in over 2 years, my first time being at the Garden in over 2 years. And it was a really, really exciting night, being able to be back at a Celtics game, and like I said, back inside TD Garden, and what a performance it was for the Celtics. They faced the why can't I think?
The Jazz.
The Jazz, thank you. I was thinking for some reason the Timberwolves, but then I realized that was like the game that they played over the weekend.
Which, by the way, I just wanted to just quickly. So a lot of these, sports teams, whether it's basketball or basically any other sport, their team name is usually something. It can be like an animal or like an object or like a type of person or something like that. Like a pirate, like
Raiders, like for Wellesley.
Like Raiders. And how do you? I'm just trying to figure out how you make like a mascot, and each of these teams has like a very like unique mascot and everything.
Yeah.
How do you make a mascot for Jazz? Can I just like
a big musical note?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I never even I gotta look this up. Like, can you?
Well, I'm gonna do a little intro research while I ask you the question because that's a really good point. But while I'm doing some intro,
jazz is a genre of music. Like, how do you turn that into like a team, I
don't know. Yeah, it's a really good question, and I actually don't know off the top of my head what the actual mascot for the Jazz is, which is why I'm looking it up right now. Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me right now?
What?
Look at this. That's the mascot. It's a bear. It's a bear.
It's a bear.
It's a bear.
It's a bear. What does that have to do with Jazz?
It's a bear. Look at this. Look. I don't know if you guys can see this.
I think that musical note idea would have made more sense.
It's kind of hard to tell with the lighting, but yeah, it's a bear, folks. It's a bear.
And he has sunglasses.
Yeah. Jazz Bear is the mascot for the Utah Jazz.
The Jazz Bear?
Yeah, the Jazz Bear.
Wow. It's like they picked out of a hat. They're like, what kind of animal should we associate Jazz with? A bear. Perfect. Just throw some sunglasses on that dude, and there you go.
Yeah. I didn't even know that until just now, and I'm very much pondering the life and the choices made by a NBA franchise from a completely different state at this moment because
I just think it's I know they're like a long-standing professional team and everything, but that team name,
it's been that mascot since 1994 when they first became like
94?
franchise. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not as long as I thought. Okay, so I'm just thinking like what they thought of when they were just going to call themselves the Jazz. Is there like a huge jazz movement in Utah?
New Orleans, maybe. Like if you like,
you think
jazz,
like Louisiana.
You think jazz, you think like New Orleans or like Memphis or like somewhere like down south, like Tennessee. Nashville. Sorry, that's more country, but anyway.
But so
you get my point. It's like you don't think of Utah.
Yeah.
When you think of jazz,
I just don't. I don't know. But anyways, yeah.
Well, I mean, you do think of Utah. You think of jazz because of the Utah Jazz, but you don't like. Talking about the music,
there has to be like some underground or just like great crazy jazz movement going on there because like and a bear really. I'm sorry, I'm just like making fun of that team right now, but I have a lot of questions about that team. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I didn't know that, and now I'm very much questioning just everything. But anyway,
although I will say, I will say this on a positive note. Their uniforms were pretty kick-ass. I did.
Yes, they do have very nice uniforms. I agree. No, I agree with you completely on that.
They're pretty cool. Yeah.
But getting back to the game itself, because it was a very entertaining game, especially for us Celtics fans. Wow, you could tell it's been a long day. Just words are not coming right now. It was a very entertaining game for us Celtics fans because the Celtics, they won by 20 points.
Oh yeah.
They literally from the very beginning of the game pretty much blew out the Jazz. It was pretty much a very one-sided affair. So what I wanted to ask you, Kyle, I know we're going to get into a few clips here in a moment, but what I wanted to ask you first is just your sort of overall thoughts, feelings, emotions, just looking back on, again, our first trip to TD Garden for any sporting event in over 2 years and basically 3 years for some semblance of professional sporting event. So just give us your overall thoughts to start out with about our trip back to the Garden last Wednesday.
I mean, it was great. Like we first of all, I gotta commend you for finding some really good seats there. We were at the very top. What I love about the top is that despite my slight fear of heights, we had a really great view of the game.
Yeah.
And it was just like I liked how, because like when you go really low when it's like a hockey or basketball
How
game,
low can you go?
like a lot of times,
Sorry.
like I feel like you're like turning your head, you're like trying to follow the game and everything, and like courtside seats are always nice, but like when you go too close to the court, like to me it just kind of throws me off. Like I'm just like, oh my god, and you have to like kind of watch out like where they're going.
Yeah.
Whereas like I like the top because you have just a nice plain like really good view of everything, and it was really really great. Just like I love, I love seeing how they played. Like you're right, they really brought their A game, that night, and the Jazz. I gotta say they were a good team, despite the confusing name of the team and all the questions I had before. But they are a really solid. It was really cool watching them play, and it's funny because we were talking about how basketball too has kind of changed like over the years, and how it's like become more of a shooting game, like a sorry, not a shoot. Like, no, yeah, I know you're thinking like, what is it, Call of Duty now? Like, no, it's more like just like a game to try to really get the baskets in, as opposed to like doing.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is it's more of like outside shooting game, because obviously,
yes.
obviously baskasball they've always been trying to shoot the ball at the basket.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you for catching me on that one.
No, but I agree with you in that sense that it has become much more. The style of game these days has become much more where there's a lot more outside shooting, like a lot more 3-pointers and like shots from deep, as opposed to before where you would like see teams more trying to go like inside, using the big men, the centers, and the power forwards and all of them, and going inside more, in the paint, as it's called, to try to get those buckets. But right now there's a lot more emphasis on shooting threes, which is both a blessing and a curse at the same time, because if you go very cold from behind the 3-point line, you could find yourself in trouble very quickly during the game.
It's a risk,
sure. It's a risk-reward situation for sure. I did want to get into the point you just made just a second here and agree with you also, in the sense that I always like when I get the opportunity to sit up on the balcony, I really don't mind sitting up on the balcony, because you're right, you have just like a great view of everything. You don't have to like worry about like corners. Like if you're down low, sometimes like it's hard to see like in the corners depending on where you are, something like that. But like in the balcony, you have like just a really nice sort of on top of a view of everything. And the other thing I liked about what we were seeing, so we were in the very last row of the balcony at TD Garden, where basically our backs were literally against a wall. But I kind of liked it because for a couple reasons. Number one is like if you want to stand up during the game, you don't have to worry about like blocking anybody's view. You can stand up like whenever you want for however long you want, and you're not going to be blocking anybody's view, which is really good. The other thing is like it's kind of nice having the wall back there. So if you wanted to kind of just lean back during the game, just kind of rest your back or something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice luxury to have. So, I've always really enjoyed like that sort of view and that sort of seat area as well. Some stadiums are better than others. Like I'm like if you're like at a Patriots game, sometimes it can be kind of annoying being at the top row because you're like way up there and you can like barely see. But TD Garden is like the perfect like layout where even being in the top row of the balcony, like you still have a really really good view of all the action down on the court or the ice, depending on what event you are there to see. But yeah, I thought it was a great game as well. I thought the Celtics played really well. I was very excited that they were able to get the job done. And as I was kind of referencing or sort of teasing at before, Kyle, since he is the master filmographer of these games, a lot of the events we've been to, he's taken his pictures and his videos and has thrown together some pretty epic montages. Obviously, very recently we had the Babson hockey montage that Kyle put together and all that good stuff. And so Kyle did collect some clips from the Celtics game last Wednesday night. So we wanted to sort of throw that together for you right now for a little, like I said, just a little clip-a-thon here from Wednesday night's game. So anything you want to add about the montage before we throw it to it?
No, I mean, I'm just really excited for you guys to watch it, and let us know what you think. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm always open for some suggestions, and like if you guys got any critiques about it, like I'm all ears. So no worries. So as long as it's constructive criticism, we're good to go. So
All right, so let's take you to that right now. Wow, I mean, just watching that back, maybe just really took me back to a week ago tonight. Literally, it's kind of funny to think that like if it were a week ago at this time, like the game would have been like going on, and we were in the stands rooting it up for the home team, and I gotta say the TD Garden just experience was basically what I remembered. I mean, it really was a very entertaining point of view. Hold on, folks. We're being handed a piece of paper. Okay. Very cool. Thank you to our researchers for handing me this. So apparently, why the question at the top, conveniently enough, at the top of this paper is why is the team called the Utah Jazz? So the Jazz apparently were in New Orleans prior to moving to Utah. I guess they moved to Utah. Okay, I'm sorry. So Utah, the Jazz themselves moved to Utah in 1978. So the Jazz have actually been in Utah since 1978. So I was wrong. What I was thinking of 1994 was that was the year the Jazz Bear mascot came into
gotcha.
Came into existence in 1998. It actually was inducted in the Mascot Hall of Fame in 2008.
Huh.
and apparently he's helped raise over $1 million for charity in his lifetime. So.
Okay.
It is kind of funny. This little description says, despite no history of jazz music in Utah, the day was kept. So there you go. So thank you to our researchers for that.
Okay.
Little tidbit there, very much appreciated. But so there you go.
Cool, good to know.
I never knew that the Jazz were once based in New Orleans. It actually makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, that
definitely helps clarify things. So, anyway,
nice.
Thank you to our researcher for that. What I was going to say is that the experience at the Garden was what I remember from a couple years ago. I mean, pretty much it felt the same as it felt almost as if I had never left or never stopped going to games there for 2+ years. I mean, everything looked and felt like pretty much the same. The food was pretty much the same. Very pricey, but also pretty good. And just the getting in and out of the Garden to just the atmosphere in it and everything, it really felt like old times, and it was really, really cool to see. I just wanted to ask you about, Cal, as we wrap up the Celtics game portion of tonight's episode. Is just sort of what were your thoughts on the overall entertainment and TD Garden atmosphere experience part of our evening?
No, I thought it was great. I love when they. I love some of the song choices they had. I just love how every 5 seconds they were playing like the Cha Cha Slide. That's the only venue I've seen that they play that song, which is, it's a great song. So I love that. It was just, you're right. It was a great night. It's a great venue as always. I love watching hockey and basketball there, and yeah, it was just great. It was just great going back. Because we were talking about this earlier. I can't remember the last time I was there for a Celtics game, specifically.
Like I said, I know for me it was December of 2019. Because I remember I went to one Bruins game, that Bruins Canadiens game you and I went to early in December of 2019. And then right around Christmas time, I went to the Celtics with my sister Sarah. Shout out Sarah.
Yeah.
And that was the last pro sporting event that I went to in TD Garden, and then obviously, like I said, you and I went to the Bean Pot in February of 2020.
Yes, that's true.
And then, we haven't been back since until last Wednesday night. So there you go. It was a great time. It was a great time, and I cannot wait to be able to go to more sporting events in the future, whether it be there or Fenway Park or whatever the case may be, because it's been like I said, over the last year and a half, making the return to sports, live in person sports has been very nice, and so definitely, like I said, looking forward to just continuing to attend, whatever sporting events that we can, no matter what the level. So very very happy about that. So shout out to the Celtics, who, by the way, are playing really well as of late. They're currently in third place in the Eastern Conference. They're actually playing as we speak at home at TD Garden as we speak against the Miami Heat. So wishing them the best of luck tonight as well, and the rest of the season and into the playoffs and all that good stuff. So lots of exciting times for Celtics fans. We are now going to transition to sort of the end portion of our episode, which is the obviously my final thoughts and the Sue's review. So this week, I'm actually going to, I know a lot of times I go first with my final thoughts, but we kind of switched it up this week just because I'm feeling generous. And I'm going to say that we will kick things off for our final segments here with a new and I'm sure very awesome Sue's review. So Kyle, take it away.
All right. So I haven't seen a whole lot of new movies recently, except for one, which was Uncharted. And yes, this is the same Uncharted that's based off of the long-standing PlayStation franchise. It's literally been around, I think, since the PS3 era. and it's a series of games that it's basically like Indiana Jones, where you're this guy named Nathan Drake, and you have to go around, solving, like going through caverns and solving some mysteries, exploring like different parts of the world, and running away from lots of bad guys who are trying to kill you. And it's and he does all these like really death-defying kind of like acts and stuff like that. And the movie I thought did a pretty decent job at capturing the games. Now, the thing about this is I actually haven't played a whole lot of the Uncharted games myself. I just know that they're very well reviewed. A lot of people love those games. Like they're some of the greatest, like apparently action adventure games like you'll play on the system. And from what I can tell, at least from just kind of a more of a not as big of a fan, kind of a lesser fan, I guess, if you will, that it looked like the movie at least captured kind of like the very basic aspects of the game really well. The guy Nathan Drake was played by Tom Holland in this one, who in my opinion, I like. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Holland. I think he's a great actor. I just thought he was a little young for the role. In the games, Nathan Drake is usually supposed to be about. He's supposed to be like in his like maybe 30s, maybe like mid to late 30s. But Tom Holland, he still kind of looks like a high schooler, college kid. He looks a little too young for the role. And then Mark Wahlberg was actually supposed to play his partner, who goes on all the adventures with him, his like older partner. And I just thought, like, I can understand if Sony is trying to like have these actors kind of more age into their roles where they're in the game series, but regardless of that, like I still thought Tom Holland did a great job. He kind of played that sort of snarkiness of Nathan Drake, like he is kind of like Indiana Jones. Like he always gets like he's always like a thrill seeker. He always gets in all kinds of danger and stuff like that, and he's trying to look for treasure. And I thought they really nailed that aspect of it. And, the action scenes were good. It's nothing revolutionary, but it's kind of a good way to, turn your brain off and just kind of have fun with the movie. It definitely felt like a Marvel movie in a lot of ways, too, because there was an end credit scene that sets up for the next movie that comes up. So, but no, overall, it's just a fun movie. It's a movie you can take your kids to see. It's very harmless. It's like I said, it's just a solid action kind of treasure hunting movie, and especially if you like Tom Holland, if you like Mark Wahlberg, then I think you'll enjoy this movie. So there you go.
Nice, thank you, Kyle, as always for that. Always loving the Sue's reviews. So now it is time for my final thoughts, and I'm going to sort of go back into the basketball theme because this coming weekend, actually tomorrow night, and no, I'm sorry, what am I saying? No, Saturday and Monday. I was like, I never mind. You don't even want to know why my thought process where it was. The Final Four is coming up for March Madness for the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Again, it will be taking place Saturday for the semifinals, and then Monday for the finals in New Orleans, which was funny. Kind of felt like we were talking about New Orleans earlier, so it's kind of
full circle.
Yeah, kind of fitting there. But I just wanted to, give a shout out and best wishes to all four of the teams that are appearing in the Final Four. You will have Kansas playing Villanova, and then Duke playing North Carolina in the two semifinals Saturday night. And for those college basketball aficionados out there, just how historic that Duke-North Carolina rivalry is. I mean, it is arguably the best rivalry in college basketball, and literally they have never. The funny thing is, despite the historic rivalry and being generations and generations, they have actually never played each other in the NCAA tournament before this year, and it really is a Hollywood-esque like storybook ending because Duke's head coach, Mike Krzyzewski, who's a longtime coach, Hall of Fame coach, basically legend of the game. It's his last year. He's retiring after this season. So just how fitting that, first of all, his team made it all the way to the Final Four in his last year, first of all. But now that he gets to play, they're age-old rivals, sort of the historic rivals in a national semifinal with a chance to go play for a national championship. So I think it's going to be an awesome weekend of college basketball. If I had to make my picks, I'm going to say Duke beats North Carolina, and then Kansas beats Villanova. And for no other reason with Kansas Villanova that I picked Kansas at the beginning of the tournament to win it all, and so I want to be proven right. So I think it's going to be, Kansas versus Duke in the finals, and I think Kansas ends up coming out on top. But I think, like I said, I think it's just going to be a great weekend of college basketball. I cannot wait to see just the excitement, the action, the atmosphere. It's just going to be a great time come this weekend in New Orleans. And best of luck to all the teams in attendance, or all the teams that are going to be participating. So it's going to be a good time, as it always is. So that's going to put a wrap on this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. I want to thank everybody that tuned in, and I hope that you will, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and ring the bell and tell your friends, because we always enjoy new viewership along with old viewership. And please feel free to drop us a comment, whether it be a thought on the episode or something you'd like to see us talk about in the future, or whatever the case may be. And also, make sure to go and watch Marvel at the Movies and the Sports Blitz. Again, lots of exciting content, as always, being thrown out by both of those shows. Always a good time. So our YouTube trilogy powers on. And thank you again, as always, to Wes Woodson and Zyman Organizing for sponsoring us tonight. Definitely the links will be in the description, and big shout out to them. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, that's Kyle. I'm Robbie, and this is the couch, obviously, and that's a burp. Sorry about that. Great way to end the episode, though. And we will see you next time here on a Couch Talking Sports. Bye, everybody.
Oh my God, he can play it. Oh my gosh, he really can play. Kyle just...
Working on it.
What is that? Kyle just played what?
Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy. Just played Ode to Joy on your uke. Not Ike.
Upson.